Hello, my name is John.
And I'm Nikki, and we are the bosses next door.
Yes, we are. At least for the next half hour or so.
Boy.
So this episode is the Success Hangover. What happens when you hit your goal? So before we started this thing, Nikki and I were going back and forth. She's like, I don't have anything. I'm like, oh, I got one. So,
Okay.
yeah. Anyways, it is like it's like the weird emotional drop after the achievement, right? So I think we've experienced this a couple times. I just don't think Nikki's like thinking different, maybe.
Elaborate, and then I'll tell you.
So the first time was when after we survived, when we started Little John's, like, man, we make $100,000 in the business. We'll be great. And we hit that 100,000 and went right by it. And I was like, oh, that sucks because now we have employees.
Did we
have
feel
trucks.
that? I don't think we noticed.
No. And then the other one, the big one for me was like everybody talks about $1 million. Yeah. Oh, when you hit $1 million, man, like I'm going to hit $1 million. Mm-hmm. And I remember we hit $1 million. And you know what Nikki and I did? We went and got lunch. And we went right back to the office and work because it was like, in my mind, it's so dumb. In my mind, I was like, oh my God, the freedom and all the things. And it's going to be so amazing. And everything's going to be perfect. And it was like, no, it's just a number.
What lunch was it? Do you remember?
I think we went to Barrows.
I literally was thinking we went and had a lunch special for like $5.
That's right.
A slice and a drink.
If anybody knows, there's a place called Barrows, or it's family owned. They have a ton of places here in Phoenix and the surrounding areas, and it's a lunch special. It's banging. It's we get 1, 2, or 3 slices of pizza, a drink, a salad, and it's like $5 to $7.
Right. So shout out to Barrows because
that's right.
We're there quite a bit.
Well, it used to be.
Used to be for sure. Yeah.
Because we could afford it. Anyways, so I think that was for me was like the big emotional hangover because it was like we worked so hard to get there.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn it.
I thought this was going to feel better.
I thought, and then, yeah. And then I remember Johnson for Coach Connect, we were turning our numbers in. We were in the academy and we hit 9. We hit like 9, it was like 989 or 998, just shy of $1 million. And we could have lied and just rolled it up. But I was like, and I remember Jonathan like, ooh, so close. And I was like, man,
oh, yeah.
That sucked. So I think that you set yourself up we were setting ourselves up with the problem of the number, like we were chasing a number, versus like what's really important is chasing the bottom line.
Sure.
And I think we've learned that lesson over time.
Right.
At least I hope so.
Right.
Now you do need to make the top line work to make the bottom line work too. If you want to hire great people and all those good things, but the bottom line I think is what we focus on a lot more than the top line. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you don't have any emotional ones you can think of?
Any success hangovers? So it's like hitting that goal, and then I mean for us maybe like with CallBoss in the beginning we were in the building, like in the little small box, guys, we're in a construction trailer, right? And there were 3 little cubicles in it. It was Heather, Star, and me, Heather and her sister. And then we were taking all the calls and stuff. And then it was so exciting to be able to move into an actual like brick-and-mortar building.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, we had to shut it down. So we were only in there for 3 weeks. And it was
2
like,
weeks.
That was a big like emotional, we made it. It's great. And then outside of our control, it changes, and now we're like, oh, what's next?
Yeah, we spent the next 72 hours figuring it out and rebuilding a whole structure of that company. That was crazy.
Right. Changing the process.
And then I used to go sit in that office and just like, man, like we had it for a sec. We still had to pay on it.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Well, who knew?
Yeah,
but it was still nice to be able to transition, right? That was huge. And then after that, everybody went remote. So that was another transition, but a very cool change.
Well, that we used to be like CallBoss in theory was like, man, we'll have people work in an office, and then eventually like you can graduate to working from home, or we were going to try to figure that out down the road, and then it just hit so fast. Like
everybody's remote. You just got to do it, whether you were seasoned or not. We had to make sure everyone was on.
And then we had to change the way we trained.
Yeah.
Do you remember we had to build the computers? We were building computers on our kitchen table And we were called,
Shout out David
yeah,
Kite.
David Kite. David Kite, like, David, I need your help, man. And he was walking us through how to build the computers. We had no idea what we were doing.
No, and I think we chose that way because it was less expensive at the time than
And we
purchasing
could
like
get the parts, yeah.
computers, and we needed solid state drive and all these things we didn't know about that we learned about.
Yeah.
And yeah, he literally walked us through how to do it. We even had some of our kids like, okay, hold this.
Oh my
twist.
gosh, totally assembly line at our house,
Yeah.
like trying to put all these dang computers together.
Now I have all these computers at my house.
Hey, because now we have a whole nother system, which is it's
Right.
better, like that's better. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just remember that. So I think like you're right. Like the office was like this big, like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And then okay, and then we moved into this place last November for Little John's and CallBoss, and it's significantly bigger than the building we had before. So the building we were in, we actually we worked out of our house. Then we went and then we made that. We shared a little tiny office. Tiny office. Mm-hmm. Like 150
We got
square
one
feet.
room in the tiny office.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
split the fridge. And then thought we made it. And then like the reality is like, oh my gosh, like not really because like,
Well, and that one's kind of hard too because for that one it was Little John's. We didn't have CallBoss yet, and our crews were still stationed somewhere else, and the office was here.
Yeah.
And that was like hard to connect and feel connected with our team.
that's exactly right. So then we had the next big like, oh my gosh, we found a place and we didn't have an office, but we
Like
had
a
to
yard.
we had to put a Connex box that was converted into an office. It was like a tin can that just echoed. And then we ran Little
With
John's on
windows.
with
That was it.
windows. Like you just checked yourself into a cell.
Literally, because
Like,
there were
hello.
bars on those
was.
windows.
And then we did that. And so like that was the next move, like, oh my gosh, we made it. And then the reality of like, okay, well, it worked, but like this is not the long-term game.
The reality was the girls, it was Courtney and I, and then Nicole for a while, and it was like, we cannot do a porta potty
Oh
in
my
the
gosh, the
summer in
porta potty.
Arizona
Thank you for saying that.
anymore.
Yes. So we did a porta john. That was horrible for everybody. And then we did, and then we brought a construction trailer and it had falling apart. And
It was from like what, 1984?
if that. And then we got like, but it was kind of interesting. Like you justify or you're like, oh my gosh, okay, this is so much better than what it was. And for the scenario, yes, but it wouldn't cool itself down. The air conditioner was super old. Like it just didn't work very well. So we had to bring like these little portable air conditioners in the summer in Arizona and try to cool it down. Like it was just stuff, right? We get ants in that dang thing all the time.
We did. And wasps.
And wasps.
There's so many things.
Man, we were like battling the elements.
But these are all things that like led us to like we had success and then it fell off. Like something would change and we'd have to go into the next, right?
Yeah, I think it goes, and then and then we moved from there. But that's like 450 square feet, and we ran both companies really kind of out of that. And then even though CallBoss was remote, and then we moved to this big building, and the success of like, oh my gosh, like we had the money available. It was a lot of money to put down to move everything over there. We took a big risk on ourselves, and it worked, and it's fantastic. But the part I think was interesting is like, even that level, there's somewhat of a letdown, right? Because like you come over here, you expect, oh my gosh, now we have the environment for the team. We have all these things. It's just going to get better and better and better. And we've turned our whole team in the last 6 to 8 months.
Yes.
And it's because the reality of stepping up to the next level was not the reality for some of it. It was just too big of a challenge for some people.
Fair.
Like seasons in life, right?
For sure.
So there's the next letdown, like, dang, man, we worked so hard to put this group together and it's not going to work. And then now it's like, we have these 3 companies and it's like, it's just constantly peppered with things, right? And you're like, well, when you get big, all these things, these great things happen. Well, yes and no, right? There's a lot of more challenges, right? Can you take on enough work that your team can handle? Or do you not bring in enough work that your team is idle, right? Like, and there's this kind of a balance that we're working through right now, So like you get excited because you move into a big building. It's beautiful. We have a lot of traffic when people want to come work for us. But then the reality is that like, man, now are we hitting in all cylinders? And if not, what do we need to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody warned you that it might feel empty, right? So what do you do after the win? Like, what's your next step?
I think after that $1 million thing, I set my goal so freaking far out there. Like, I'm like, listen, if we hit this goal, we are good.
Yeah, yeah. So
Is
you
that fair?
changed the way that you do your goals instead of having it's still an attainable goal, but it's an attainable goal that's going to take some time to get there.
It's going to take a long time.
Right.
Well, I mean, you never know,
Maybe
right?
acquisitions happen, you never know.
Yeah.
You could get there sooner than later.
Yeah. And I think I
Yeah.
get stuck on too, like, there's perception versus reality, right? And so, like, you see what everybody else has done, you see how good everybody else has done, but what's the reality behind it, right? So, Mr. Know-It-All, Chris, like he's been in business since like 2006 or 2008. Like he's been in business a long time. People see the success for him right now, and it's like, oh my God, he's owns this big company in Canada. It's taken him a long time.
Right.
You look at Chase Coates. Chase Coates was like, we knew him when he was like 2.5 million, and now they're massive and they bought out another area. And like, there was such a lay of foundation to make that work. Like, and I think that was the reality for myself is like, okay, like we're at 13 years and like, you've seen some, like a lot of positive things have happened, but it's like, okay, now we're ready I feel like we're like getting ready. We're seasoned for the growth. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've seen so much of it just because like of the academy that we were in. All of our friends that were in the academy started somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But now fast forward 8-10 years later, they've all grown because of, knowledge and things like that. But it's really interesting to look back and see where we all started because we were all at different stages, but we were all in it together.
Yeah. That really is true. Like Jonas Olson, Kirk Slack, like, a ton of these guys, right? Eric Short that nobody ever hears from anymore. But like, it's just, you're right. Like it just started somewhere, like where we started to where we're ending or we're currently is so much different. And and then you see some people that are just stuck in the way, right? Because they are let down by where they thought they were going to be, or they got to a level they thought was going to bring them joy or happiness or whatever. And that's not the reality of it.
Right. Right. Because one of the notes we talked about when we were putting this episode together was like the goals don't solve your identity issues, right? So just because you hit a goal, it's not going to change your identity. How do you still look at things? How do you approach things? How do you set your next goal? What do you do when people stop clapping, right?
Well,
What's next?
Exactly right. Like the clapping part is great, right? But there's so much work done behind the scenes that people they don't see, right? And like,
everybody just sees a business and says, you make so much money. You've just got so much money.
I have no
It's like
idea.
just an instant thought that there's so much behind it. It's like we can make a ton of money one week and we're going to pay more than half of that out in payroll. Like people just don't understand the give and take of.
Well, I don't think they see the stressors behind it. And I think that's also perception versus reality, right?
Sure.
And your own struggles as an owner, right? Like you have to make a lot of tough decisions on a daily basis. And I think if you're going to own a business or if you have a business, like you need to be willing to outwork.
Right.
That's my belief. You have to outwork people, right? I mean, it's not like the physical part of outworking. It's like the mental part. And sometimes it's going to be physical, but like it's setting your teams up for success and then making sure that, okay, if they didn't succeed, why didn't they succeed? It's not automatically like, oh my gosh, they're just failed, right? Or a failure. No, maybe we didn't explain to them why.
Right.
Maybe we
Did
didn't
we
do
give
these things right.
Clear direction, right?
And that's
Did they
it.
have the tools they needed? Wasn't a realistic expectation? Like all of those things come into play.
Man, years ago, that just would piss me off when people say that. Like you put a process together. I'm like, I should know how to do this. And now I'm like, oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, did you put it in writing? Did you send it? Do you have receipts?
Yeah.
No verbal.
No verbal.
You can say something, go back and send it and make sure they understand,
Yeah.
So
I think that's big. I think that's a big part of it. I think it is like setting yourself up you don't want to set yourself up for failure. And I think that happens a lot because you're like, well, when this happens, this is going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, no, not really.
Why do you think that high achievers sometimes self-sabotage after their wins?
I think that's like entrepreneurs or serial entrepreneurs is like that's why they keep starting new businesses. They're looking for the next shiny object.
And that's a thing.
That is a thing. And it's self-sabotage, right? Like I think that's a lot of it. And I think that is the self-sabotage. Like you get to a level and you're like, ah, and you just like completely go a different direction because you thought it was going to do something for yourself, right? Not looking at it for what it is.
And I
Is that
think
fair?
that can be said also in your current business because it's like, what's the next piece of software that's going to make us better? Or what's the next techie thing we can add to make it even better? But sometimes it's too complicated, takes too long to learn. You know what I mean? Like there might be things that look helpful, but then as you dive in, you're like, this is probably a bad choice.
Well, what's the input that you have to put into it versus what you get out of it, right?
Right.
Does it simplify what you're doing? Does it complicate what you're doing? Does it add steps or takes away steps? You know, like, so we have this software company we keep talking about. And, you know, that was one of the big things that Nikki has talked about. And like ourself is like, or myself is, how do you simplify, right? How do you stay on one page? How are you able to go to one spot and have everything you need, right? Like, how do you make this easier for yourself, right? Versus like, we got to go here, you got to do this, you got to do this. Like, if we're going to do it and somebody's going to make a change to the software that we're using, we need it to be like very user friendly.
Least amount of clicks as possible.
That's right.
That's what we like. Just quick and fast. Get
Yeah.
where you need to go.
Exactly right. So I think that's, you know, I think you got to look at that perspective of it too, right? Like, okay, is it worth your time? And you're exactly right. Like, there's some things we have tried in the past, you know, like it sounds great, but the boulder you got to move and the reward at the end is like, yeah, it's not really worth it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a marketing company, right? Like, oh, this marketing company is not good, blah, 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 whatever reasoning. Okay, well, were you answering your phones? What's your estimates look like? How's your customer service? What's the quality of work? Like, there's a lot of other factors, not like, well, they just can't bring enough work in for me, or they, you know, these customers aren't good customers because they complain about everything.
Yeah. What are you doing with the leads that are coming in?
Right.
Are you setting them up with the right expectation for your company?
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
You know, and that's our season right now at Little John's is customer service and quality, right? Like, we're hammering that right now. And that's our mantra or whatever you want to call it. But we're really trying to make sure that everybody is on the same page with that.
Right.
And so, like, because, yeah, owning a business is not exciting. It's not, you know, it's lonely. You know, what is Alex Ramosi? They clap you in the beginning and they clap at the end, but they, you know, like there's this whole middle part, you know, and time goes by so fast. And like, people spend so much time avoiding the hard things.
Just got to knock them out.
Yeah.
It's like the hard conversation. You just got to have it. Can't get past it till you do it.
That's right.
Got to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think the Success Hangover, I think, is essentially, you know, it's just about, man, you in your mind, right? Ed Milet talked about like, you know, he's owned like basically every car you could think of or something like that. And he has all these jets or whatever else. He's like, it's cool, but like after you kind of get them, it's like, right? And then what he say, it was like helping others is like something that's incredibly like fulfilling for him, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. I mean, I think that is awesome. We do stuff that it's nothing like Ed Milet. I don't have that. We don't have Ed Milet money. But it is stuff that we do. There's stuff that we do I think is fun. You know, it's little things. And I think that it is weird that brings some joy, right? Like you go get Nikki and I like to go eat breakfast like on the weekend, like one day by ourselves in the morning. Well, we're up before anybody else, you know, but man, we get a really good waitress or waiter and like it's cool. Like you tip them really, really well, right? And you're like, it kind of makes me feel good.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah. And and we like tip and then we leave. They just want to leave out of there. Yeah. But I think it's like, I don't know.
But we always have good conversation with them too. Like anybody who's serving us, like we're always super polite, respectful, all the things, right? But we kind of engage a little more just to kind of see like, hey, what's going on in your world? You know, how's it been today? And as we build relationships, it's like, okay, if everything was smooth and they were on it, we're like, big tip coming.
The lady who needed to rent and came back over, she caught us.
Yeah, that was fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, man.
Hey,
but yeah, anyway, so I think that you gotta take you gotta be careful because you can fall in a rut, right? Like, oh, my business is so perfect. It's great. It always can use improvement. You don't want to take your eye off the prize. And then I think always reevaluating what your goals are.
Right.
Like we have short-term goals, but I have long-term goals.
Right.
Fair?
We do. Joint ones.
Hey.
Yeah. So if you redefine your next goal based on the process and not just the prize, see how that helps you avoid your success hangover.
Ooh. Yeah,
Dropping bars.
that's right. Yes,
Awesome.
ma'am.
Well, if this episode helped you, definitely leave a comment and a like, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.